What's up guys, I got a brand new video for you today, and today we're looking at the Aputure LS 1/2W, and this is an LED panel that is actually insanely bright. I'm using it right now as an edge light behind me. I've got the remote so I can actually turn it on and off so you can see what that looks like without it. I generally like to shoot just like this because I like the dramatic look it gives, that kind of Rembrandt lighting where you get the little triangle under the eye between your nose and your eye. And turning this on just kind of gives it more of like a corporate feel. This is only a 2-point lighting setup, so I've got my key light, which is the 120D, and then I'm using the LS 1/2W behind me. Sometimes you can put in a hair light or some other types of lighting. I generally like how this looks. It looks more dramatic and just has a better vibe to it for me, at least for my style. But if you're doing corporate stuff, it's good to have something like an edge light to just kind of cut the person out of the background. Now, let's take a look at this light. I want to show you how to set it up, and then we'll talk about some use cases that you can use it in. All right, so setting this light up is pretty easy. It's pretty common the way that it connects. It's a little bit different than something like the Aputure Amaran lights that run off batteries. It does have a connector in the back here, and it is passive cooled. These are kind of like the heat sinks, the vents that you can see on the back here. It doesn't have any fans in it. Flipping it around here, you can see all the LEDs. And this knob here allows you to adjust the angle, and you can tighten it down. So under the bottom of the LED is a connector. It's kind of in a weird spot, but it's also not that bad. It would be nice if we had more of like a 90-degree connector that came out the back, because the cord does hang down on a weird angle. There are red markings on the bottom. You just connect up the connector with that. Next, we're going to take this controller box and hook it up through the top connector up here. And off the control box, we have this strap. We can hang the strap off the C-stand like this. So unfortunately, if you want to run it off the wall, you have to use the included power adapter. It runs off a DMX cable, kind of like an XLR cable. And that plugs into the bottom of the control box right on the very bottom. Now, if you have V-mount batteries, you can actually run that off the back of the control box here. It also has a P-tap off the side if you want to run other things off the V-mount battery. I currently don't have a V-mount battery to test this out with. There's also antennas on the top here that you can pull out. That way you can use it with the remote and get a little bit better signal if you have this light set up really far away. Once you've got everything plugged in, you can turn the control box on with the power button here. That'll turn the light on. Right now we're at 94%, but we can scroll this back. You can see what percentage you're at right up here on the dial. You can also set your channels and your groupings on this as well. So at 100%, this thing is insanely bright. So Aputure includes these kind of like white diffusion paper. It's not like a silk screen or any type of like cloth like you would get with a lot of other diffusion. This is just kind of like a makeshift paper thing, and they put clips up here at top and bottom. Basically just clip the paper into the clips. And there's also a clip right on the bottom. And that's basically it. That's how you diffuse it with the paper. All right, so with the remote, you can actually change the intensity, so I can turn it up and down. So right now I'm gonna turn it up. So that's full power at 100%, and it's way too bright. It looks stupid. So I'm gonna bring it back down, and I'm gonna look up at the screen to see kind of where I like the look of it. Somewhere around there looks pretty good. You can group up lights that are in this system that are using the new remote, and you can actually turn these on and off. So right now I don't know if my camera's actually focusing on me or not, but I'll turn that back on. It's a pretty simple setup, but it actually looks really good. I also use this light for real estate work because you can actually shine it up at the ceiling, light the entire place because it's super bright. And I was able to match with the window light that was coming in because it is daylight balance, it's 5500K, so it matches the outside light coming in through a window perfectly. And like I said, this light is pretty multi-purpose. I actually used it for another job too, shooting some portrait stuff where I actually didn't have enough light, and I actually didn't bring any other lights. I had this light in my car. I diffused it off, and I was able to actually shoot with the backlight, and this is kind of like a key light, I guess, but had it really soft and diffused, and the images turned out really awesome. If you don't want to use the included power brick, you can use a V-mount battery and basically just run it anywhere. You can bring it outside. You can, I don't know, you don't need the power brick. It's really easy to set up. You have to use that diffusion paper if you want to diffuse it. That's kind of like a trick that I would use if I didn't have any other diffusion, but that's how they're doing it. Maybe they'll innovate on top of that, or you could buy some kind of like silk screen material that you can put over top of that. Kind of weird that that's how they're doing it, but it's not that big of a deal. It's really small, packs down nice. It doesn't come with a case, at least the one I have didn't come with a case. So the build quality of this light is incredible. It's all out of metal, it's basically aluminum. The entire package altogether comes in just a little under 7 pounds. The light itself is only like 1 inch thick, so it's super thin. It's nice and quiet. It's passive cooling, so it's got kind of like vents and heat sinks. It doesn't need a fan or anything like that. It actually comes in at around $399 US, which is actually a really good price for a light of this quality. So yeah, basically only good things to say about this light. I am gonna start using more of an edge light or something like that in my videos, And I will talk about the 120D. This light deserves its own video. And if you want to pick one of these lights up, I'll put a link in the description where to get that. And stay tuned for the 120D review. I'm going to do 2 videos, I think. One for video and then also one for photos, because you could actually use this for photos. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give it a thumbs down twice. I'll see you in the next one.